Maybe Shalini cannot see me, and is it okay, or you want me to sit there and talk? Why don't you come over here? It will be easier. Good evening, Dr. Chandrasekhar and my colleagues on the dais. It reminds me of a private screening of a film which I had at some point of time at Bombay in a theatre, where 4 of us were there with the film's director and producer, and had excellent viewing of the film. And having got used to, in any case, Skyping quite regularly, where you talk to a wall normally, or maybe an electronic screen, we are quite used to this. But I need to say that to listen to Dr. Chandrasekhar, or to get his appointment, or maybe getting him for a speech to be delivered in an institute or a company, I know how much it's difficult. And Devang, I know, I had 2 experiences of inviting him to Pune, and how difficult was it to get his day to get him to come and speak to my people. And of course, there we were totally full and it's overflowing. So it's equivalent to a private screening of a film all of you are getting. So I need to, congratulate you for getting this kind of an opportunity to start with. I don't have a presentation, but certainly to talk from the side of the industry, we are not normally very honest to admit our mistakes, because we have to be over projecting what we are not, so that we are able to be creating a brand for organization. So I'll start on with an apology to say that Indian industry did not do the right thing in terms of research and development for a very long period. And if the industry academia participation did not go very well for a very long period, the blame is not for the academia or to the government, it is the industry, and I don't have any objection of admitting it standing over here. Because I started working in a technology-oriented company 32 years back, and we had an R&D division, and we told a lie to the world that we were doing research. Thermax did not do any research for a fairly long period. We did development. We bought technology and we developed it for Indian purposes. And I don't think there is any companies, barring maybe the, I would say, pharma industry, which can take the claim. That too, it is a reverse engineering predominantly. They didn't create a molecule on their own. Maybe somebody started doing that way. So we are at a very nascent state of R&D in this country. Development we are very good at, but not research. And I don't blame the industry. There's a reason for it, because personal experience of mine itself is that at the turn of the century, this company had a turnover of 500 crores rupees and a profit of 50 crores. Where would I go for, how can I do R&D? Because my equity shareholding is 23.5 crores rupees. If I have to pay dividend, what is left over for R&D? And engineering industry, I know the largest company in this country, BHEL, I do know their balance sheet also personally. It is so practical to be. So there's nothing wrong with what has happened, but with the frugal money available, India has created technology. That's what we're going to take pride in the fact. And I'm just passing on my own, just reflecting, sitting over there, my own experience in this organization. 1998, post-Pokhran, India was denied dual-use technologies by the rest of the world. And we were to be expanding the capacity of heavy water production in the country, because that's only CANDU reactors that we had those days in the country before we signed 123 agreement. And for expansion of our heavy water production capacity, we needed certain technologies, and nobody was willing to give it. And BARC decided to approach many Indian companies to do joint development. And 1999-2000, we were approached by Heavy Water Board to create partial condensation technology. And I'm very happy and proud to say that 2.5 years of research between both the government and BARC put together, and Thermax participating in a very strong way. The research was actually done in our company only. We created a patent for it. Today that patent is jointly owned by the government of India and Thermax. And we have been able to expand without anybody's support in this country our Baroda plant and our Tuticorin plant in heavy water expansion. And when there is a need, you don't need money. You only need intellect for it. And that is what is the capability of India. When Dr. Khakkar was talking about the number of patents filed and how the quantum of money being spent, if I were to add on the R&D personnel working of Indian origin in India and in North America and in Europe put together, and the patents which can be accountable to the root of half the work done in Bangalore and balance done in maybe Silicon Valley, I think we are nowhere, anywhere lower. That's my thinking. But we are on the journey, the right journey itself. From there, let me tell you what forced us, and specifically somebody like me, to get into the academia industry participation is something which I would want to narrate. In year 2000, I was given charge of turning around the only loss-making division of Thermax. It is an absorption cooling division which we had technology tie-up from Japan. I will not name the company. And we had a minimum royalty payment to be made to them. In a loss-making company, the only thing I could possibly think about was to go down to Japan, request the president of that very large conglomerate emanating out of Japan, to request him and tell him, please, can you postpone the payment of the minimum royalty till such time I become profitable. Excellent meeting we had, a great Japanese dinner we had, but next day in the morning he told me in a very polite, classical Japanese way, without raising the voice, that I'm sorry, you have to pay the minimum royalty. A loss-making business which I was given a charge of turning it around, and I didn't have a choice but to borrow money from the corporate and pay royalty for the next 3 years. When I came back I was very furious, and I collected a set of my engineers and we went for a sabbatical for 3 days, and I did tell that I give you exactly 24 months period, that I need to be liberated from the clutches of this collaborator of mine. Will you be able to do that? I can only serve you food and maybe alcohol over here for the next 3 days. But I don't have intellectual capability to be creating technology. You have educated people, excellent engineers from IITs, some of them are still with me. 8, 9 of them were there, and we even had draftsmen. I'm very proud to say that they have taken only 48 hours to make the first design and how to go about with executing the project. And we are out of that today, and I'm very proud to say we are the first company in the world to make a triple effect absorption chiller, which is working in the National Solar Research Center in Delhi for the past 1.5 years, inaugurated by the Minister for Energy of the country. So if we give a challenge, and I don't know how much money we spend, we could afford it that way. That's the journey we started. But then when we had to be tying up with this, we could somehow manage internally. When we went on with a project of creating technology in 3 different horizons, that's the way we work currently. There are 3 horizons in which we are creating technology: H1, H2 and H3. H1 is where my business is being attacked by my competitors coming from abroad. And I don't have a choice. My carpet is going to be pulled out of below my feet. And I have to create technology which is commercializable within a period of maximum 1 to 2 years. So we have innovation departments in the various business of the company, and they work overnight and create technology. That is H1. It's a part of the innovation, is a part of that embedded in the business. H2 is where I see an emerging opportunity based on the technologies already available. So creating a product which will meet up with the emerging requirement is a horizon 2, which normally would take a 2 to 3 years time. Earlier it was 5 years, but time is now in short supply. I mean, technologies become obsolete very quick. So you have a run period of maximum 2 to 3 years only with the new technology also in the world. Others will copy it that way. So that's the second part, where we do the development from a research development group as well as the business as a combination. Knowledge is resting with or technology or intellect is resting with the innovation group or a research group, whereas the market information and the product facets are remaining with the businesses. A combination of them, they do that way. Normally a 3-year period is done. And the last one is horizon 3, is a blue sky, where you are creating a viable opportunity. There is nothing that is visible today, there is no need. There is no unsatiated need today remaining. But you are able to prospect that if you were to come with this kind of a solution, in the human development index path of the world, human beings will consume it. So can you create a viable option for something of the kind? We are working on 4 projects right now, the oldest being started in 2004. 11 years are over. Till 3 years back, the product that we were anticipating was 13x bigger than what the market could afford in size and price. In 3 years, Indians have created it up to 3x. So I'm believing that in the next 4 to 5 years time, it will come to maybe a less than 2x, and at least there will be a section of the niche market which will start picking it up. So that's how we were constructing it. But while I was starting this particular journey, for the first one, which I'm still continuing for the 13th year, I needed to be in touch with, it's a very, very specialized technology. I will not reveal it right now to talk about because we've been working on the past 11, 12 years time. I realized there is only one place in this country where the same research is going on, that is Banaras Hindu University. And Dr. R.N. Srivastava was the person who was managing it. I flew down along with Dr. Bede, who was that time the ex-UGC chairman. And actually I had to lift him over there because almost 80 years of age to go to Banaras because I didn't know how to deal with him. And despite his trial and the then DSC secretary, Dr. Amurthy, we were unable to lift it up beyond an MOU level. Then recognition came to me that where are we going wrong as an industry in terms of with academia and the government, how we are unable to be interacting. I recognize that what I speak as a language is commercial, not from the podium. Podium we speak a very attractive language. When we sit in one-on-one meeting, all of us talk commercial language. That is not understood by the academia, Not even by the government also. In fact, you hate commerce, I know that. And we love it, that's the only thing that we know. So we had to be creating a different kind of a setup in an organization. The first thing I've done is that I've invited somebody from the government and Path Academia to come and join us, head of R&D of our company, Dr. R.R. Sonde, who was actually an IIT product and was working with the Heavy Water Board for a very long period. And later he was director R&D for NTPC, and I'm sure there was a lot of money with him, but none challenge for him. I could give him a lot of challenge, plus money also as a private industry. We revamped our entire R&D and we called it RTIC, Research Technology Innovation, because technology alone is not innovation. Innovation can be in processes, can be also in products and in technology, all put together. We have created centers of excellence, Dr. Devang was talking about, what is dear to us and what is very close to us. Like combustion engineering, heat and mass transfer, separation technology, solar now, put together we created. With whatever, my dream is to create 11 of them. I've been able to succeed up to 6 so far. And balance 5 as I'm generating money. Today at the size of a 6,000 crore and a 600 crore profit, I can afford to be telling I'm spending money on R&D and I can do R&D. With he coming in, the language changed. And when you have a COE, the head of COE is not an engineer anymore. And I want to be admitting standing over here, R&D was managed by engineers earlier. I'm not trying to say engineers can't do R&D. You need scientists. Well, fundamentally, what is business all about? Business starts with science. Science creates technology. Technology creates commerce. Commerce creates economy. Economy creates politics. One is the creation of wealth, other one is the distribution of wealth. Now what India knows is, if there is a technology available, we are experts in creating commerce out of that. Absolutely. But what we lack today is a connectivity between technology and science. And technology is managed by, sorry to say, companies today and taught by academia. Once a marriage happens between technology and the commerce portion, then next area is science. And I'm again sorry to say that in my engineering, nor in my schooling up to 12th standard, I have learned or used an equation written by an Indian. It's all done by somebody else. Because maybe C.V. Raman's equation was not taught to me in the engineering college, let us say that. For a moment, I'm not negating that. At least in the area that I do belong to, engineering, certainly we have not created. And why did we not create also? We got to take that stock of it. Is it that Indians are not good for science? No. We forget always one factor, that how it happened to the country. We are a great country, excellent in terms of simple living, high thinking. Global economy, 1/3, 33% of the global GDP was provided by India for a period of 1,200 years. One invention, gunpowder, did us in. Then came through the Khyber Pass, people who possibly plundered our wealth. Somebody remained over here, created a diverse society, which is what is needed in the country. Because to be a good thinker, you're going to be having diversity. We'll have to live in a diversity which will create your ability to be thinking better. That's what we are. But what really went wrong is, for 200 years, when we were fighting for our independence, is the time when the world has gone virtually vertical up, because it started off with an invention by a stupid guy by the name of James Watt, steam engine. It happened in 1780s. Followed by that is immediately the IC engine invention, where the rate of growth of industrialization and pace of action in the entire world changed. And between 1780 till 1947, I don't think there was any sign in this country. And the world has gone ahead of you. That lost 200 years is what India is going to be regaining in science. And we are going to be creating that science. And I am very happy. And in that, government alone can't do. They can fund also. You can only give the seed funding. If something like in a farm, seed can be given by the government for science also and technology also. The balance, the farmers are the industry. We have to cultivate. We are going to farm. So incorporating the industry more and more into this kind of a collaborative attitude is what is going to be creating. And the chain has got to be science, technology and commerce. There's no escape for it. You can't have only two of them happening. And I'm very, very happy that, I don't know whether my predecessor knew Dr. Devang Thakur or his predecessor. But today I'm very proud to say that at least 4 IIT directors are personally known to me. We do interact. And my company today does enough and more research activities with IIT Bombay, Chennai, Delhi. Of course, with some of the international universities also, we do with Florida University, Fraunhofer Institute. Within whatever is a frugal budget available, we are able to be working with academia. And whatever is the innovation done by my company, I give the full credit to the academy of this country, including your organization. And I have a dream because of the fact that the institutions of the country are increasing because we need more and more IITs. I don't get really worried about today. Somebody was mentioning that 10 more IITs are passed by the cabinet today. It looks like where are we heading for? We need it. Don't worry about that. Because you will still remain MIT equivalent of India. There are others who can be the other colleges. But we need a lot more because we don't have time available right now. In the next maybe 30 to 40 years, the graph you showed, Dr. Kakar, is something which we'll have to overtake China in patents. We need to do that. So we started it only in 2008 is the time when Dr. joined. I didn't have a single patent. Very proud to say we have exceeded 100 numbers. Of that, maybe 57% of them are bookshelf right now, which will come into use only when my future products are ready. 43 of them are already getting into my activity right now. And there are many, I'm not the only company when I talk about Thermaxilon. There are a lot of them doing that way. And we need to do a lot more of this. A lot more of this. Very happy to again another incident, because why I'm talking about all of this is you need to be starting with only examples today. Unfortunately, there aren't enough people to be listening to, but at least the people who listen are very important for the country. We have got from the ministry itself, there are 2 people sitting over here. For the nuclear submarine agreement as India signed, why did we go for nuclear submarine? Normal submarines have generate diesel engine as a propulsion machine. And the vibrations of that can be now located even at maybe 3 or 4 kilometers deep into the sea by enemies, because the electronics engineering has overtaken everything in the world. You could have a silent propulsion machine. So a nuclear reactor, which is created by BARC, along with Larsen & Toubro and Godrej, are the 2 companies who participated in making that. But the energy needed for that, for 27 or 30 people to be living in a submarine for a month period, you need approximately 330 kW of electricity, and that is to be created with silent technology. Only a fuel cell could be giving an answer, and Americans won't give you a fuel cell for putting into your thing, and there's no guarantee that that will not be bugged by somebody. So it has to be made by a company in the country. Between DRDO and us, we have been able to create a hydrogen-based POFC for the nuclear submarine, tested for almost 2.5 years, a commercial order received, and the first batch is under manufacturing. Now the same thing is going to go to now our frontier areas, where we are face to face with our enemy. Where in any case, today you don't know how your brigades in Jammu and Kashmir or maybe in the northeastern sector, how electricity is provided to them. It is by lifting diesel by helicopter and running generating sets over there. It's the condition that they are living in. And that is something very dangerous. Not because helicopters are going there. Gensets you cannot make in such a way that any super attenuation that you do, it will still create some amount of decibel that can be detected. So there are missiles which are directed towards wherever your locations are. And if you're going to be escaping out of that, you may have to go for silent electricity generation, whatever may be the cost for the security of the country. We don't know what is the kind, why? If you look at how technology got developed in North America or in developed world is purely through defense. The highest level, cutting level of application of engineering gets developed only through defense or energy. Then you disseminate it to various parts of the business and industry. So that is an area that we need to be, and we can't afford to depend upon somebody. So on behalf of the industry, let me say that through CII, we are taking a lot of activities. That's why, Shalini, we need to be congratulating you, because you had been single-handedly managing it on behalf of CII. The way we had been doing the Prime Minister's Apex, the doctoral fellowship program, AICT jury programs, there are many more that we are currently doing. Industry participation in the localized area, because you need to have a connectivity with the industry. So I know that you are also wanting that connectivity to be built. How do you build it is a question. You are spread everywhere, government is spread everywhere, education institutions are everywhere. Industry is there, but you can't have a one-on-one connection. So an association is needed, and CII is taking the lead. We are well spread in every state of the country, and in each state we have got councils. Each city we are developing councils. That is where we will enable that tie-up and networking, and we go to work together. And whatever is our ambitions of lost 200 years of India to be regained and to become the number 1, I am very confident about. There is no way Confucian thinking can create a technology which can be outsmarted by somebody like us who had the ability and who will have the ability. And I am repeating that way. I am very familiar with the technology development path which is supported by PIOs in North America. Some of them are coming back to India. There will be a day that we are going to dream that they don't have to go out of India, and they'll create the technology for India, and we will overtake everybody one day, not too far away, and let's work towards that. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity.